Hi folks, welcome to Chill Mini Painting. Today, we've got a special delivery. Yes! Army Painter 2.0 Speed Paint. Nothing like new paint to cheer you up in the gloomy winter. If you're following the channel, you know I'm planning to use these speed paints for the Murghouls, a 40-piece set where you can watch every brushstroke. They are all dry brushed and eagerly awaiting some color, but they are going to have to wait. Before I get to that, I want to get used to painting with this new style of paint. So today, I'm starting with this little rock star. The dry brush looks great, and the model has some awesome muscle definition in the arms and shoulders, which I think suits the speed paint just fine. I've done my fair share of painting with acrylics, but I've seen so many videos of folks getting awesome results using the slap chop technique. What attracted me to this style of painting is the level of contrast you can achieve with a single coat. Most of these other minis I've painted have required multiple coats and washes to get contrast, and honestly I don't think my brain has wrapped itself around highlighting. I'm hoping Slap Chop helps me level up my painting. So today we're going to try it out with this goblin guitarist. If it goes well, I'll do his buddies on the channel too. First things first, full disclosure, I have literally never tried contrast paints or speed paints or anything like this before. So this isn't really a review, this is just a first impressions video. And when I mean first, I mean these brushstrokes are the first time I have ever used these speed paints. The colors that I'm using, even though I got the full 50 paint set, these colors are actually from the starting kit. So if you're watching this video and you like what you see, you don't have to buy the full $250 pack. Just go out and get the $50 starting pack of 10 paints. That's all you're gonna see. So with this being a chill mini painting video, if you watched any of my stuff before, you know I like to show as many brushstrokes as I can. I'm really going to let the paint do the majority of the talking. We can just chill and paint. But I am going to give you my opinions of 4 of the starting colors, the main 4 paints that I use on this model. Some of the paints like the black and the metallic, I haven't really used those enough to have a strong opinion about them. The metallic, I don't really get at all to start with. I'm going to need to paint something armored or have some giant battle axe on a mini to really use that metallic over a wide surface to really get it. So stay tuned for that. The first color that I'm going to talk about, obviously, is the orc skin. And the first thing that sticks out to me, and probably the first thing that sticks out to you too, is holy cow, is this green bright. And the dry brush that I did before really comes through. And not only is the coverage great, but something that I notice is different from acrylics is I don't really have to worry about brush strokes because this paint is so viscous that it doesn't keep any brush strokes as you're going along. So you can literally just throw it on and it's going to pool into the recesses and stay nice and thin on top. Usually with acrylics, I have to really worry about brush strokes, but that doesn't really appear to be something that you have to worry about with these speed paints. So like I said, the coverage is awesome. It's still pretty easy to control this paint. Like I don't see it running into places where I don't want it, at least for the most part. One thing I will say about it that's kind of a negative, and maybe this is just because it's my first time using it, some of the places where there isn't much texture on the model, it's kind of a smooth surface, the paint tended to get a little splotchy. I noticed it the most when I was actually putting the paint on. A couple hours after I was done painting, I went and looked back, and the splotchiness wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I first started painting the model. Only one coat of this orc skin, and I really don't feel like I need to put another one on. And not only that, but the contrast from the dry brush underneath really comes out. I am impressed. Okay, so now we're moving on to the satchel brown on the guitar. Compared to the orc skin, I don't like this satchel brown as much. To be honest, I wish it was a little lighter. And I know that there's going to be some lighter browns in the pack, but for the only brown you get in a starter pack, this should really be a lighter brown, in my opinion. It went on the guitar really dark, and because it went on so dark, it covered up the dry brush almost completely. I don't really see much of a difference between the recesses inside the wood of the guitar, inside the grain, and the top of the wood itself. If I was doing this model again, well, first off, I'd pick a different brown. I'd pick a lighter brown. And I think I would also try to do a thinner layer to see if I could still bring out the dry brush underneath. So I think it might have been my fault, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was, so I didn't think it needed to be that thin. Okay, let's talk about the pallid bone. When I put this on, honestly, it felt like a wash. It felt like it was barely covering the model with color at all. My instinct, because I deal with acrylics, was to go, oh man, I need more, because I'm used to trying to get that full coverage. And this is the color that made me realize that with this speed paint, I really have to shift my thinking. I didn't like it when I was putting it on, but now that I see it with the rest of the model done, I really appreciate it. It brings out the dry brush underneath and really just gives that bone and the tusks just a little bit of a hint of color, which feels way more lifelike than anything I've done with acrylics. I'm definitely going to be using this a lot. Now finally, let's take a look at this slaughter red. Look at this red pop. It looks absolutely amazing in this hair. It really does a good job of being very vibrant and a deep color, whereas it's still showing the dry brush through. So where it's white underneath, the white still pops through, and then down in the recesses, it's quite dark as well. To get hair looking this good with traditional acrylics would take so much longer. This slaughter red just goes on and it's done. At this point, I really started to understand how these speed paints want to be painted. You just kind of slosh them on, you get lots of paint on the brush, and you just let that stuff fall into the recesses. You don't need to worry about brush strokes. It's a lot more like haphazard style of painting than I'm used to with acrylic. It's going to take a little while to get used to that, but I could see this being a really effective style of painting where I can get a lot more detail in a lot less time. So here you can see the final product. Some of the pros, well, first off, obviously the contrast looked amazing. These speed paints look a lot more lifelike than acrylic does with a lot less work. The texture of the models really pops. It goes on super fast and easy, which I appreciate, and you can't see the brush strokes at all. If I could give a couple cons so far too, it seems to be pretty unforgiving. If you get the paint in the wrong spot, it's not like the next coat of the other color is going to cover it up because it's see-through. So you have to be a little bit careful with your brush compared to acrylics. And like I said before, it does look a little splotchy in some spots on the back. But as I get better with using these paints, maybe that will go away. So really, the jury is still out. I need to paint with them more and I need to try more colors. I'm definitely going to be using more of these paints. I'm really impressed with how lifelike the models look, and I want to get better using it. So if you made it to the end of the video, please like and subscribe so you can catch more slap chop on chill mini painting.